Seamless transition. A little bit rattled. Have a few tech dramas this morning. I'm glad there's not a million people waiting for me because that would be awkward. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you keeping? We good? All right. So, let me just think for a minute. Let me just think for a little while. Get my bearings. It's a weird fucking time, isn't it? Everything's weird. Why is it? Hang on. Let me put the overlays on. There we go. Overlays on. Get your shit together, Taya. So, I don't think the segment thing works. Just going to declare that right now. I don't think the segment thing works. So, I'm just going to fucking... I don't know what the fuck. Okay, give me a sec. Let me just close some windows down. Okay. All right. So Diane said, totally frazzled. Yeah, me too. I'm a little bit frazzled. It's probably going to take me a few minutes to just orient myself. Like, I kind of got a little bit of a rant brewing about people who just think that just because someone streams or that they're on video or that they somehow know about lighting or anything, that this is easy. It's not easy. Like, people who just consume content and don't create content don't realize really how hard these things are to do and how, I initially started this to just overcome like fear of doing this on camera. And because I wasn't doing any writing because I was like too unwell and didn't have the time. So I thought, fuck it, let's just, and writing, trying to get jokes and thoughts out there and just say whatever the fuck I wanted. And, but this is 2 years, it's taken me 2 years to get this shit. You should see hang on, let me just get comfortable, shall we? Hope me don't have a tit fall out. There we go. But, just to get this comfortable, there's a bit of, it's taken me 2 years. So anyway, so I do, when tech goes wrong or there's something not working or the lights are off or, something happens or some fuckwit decides that he's going to be a hero and like heckle somebody, sees a woman talking and goes, oh yeah, fucking I'll wave my dick around that stream, shall I? And disrupt everybody. People don't realize that it can be incredibly unnerving because it's not my thing. I'm not a performer. I'm not your fucking monkey, fuckers. I'm doing this to troll everybody. My Trump mug. There you go. Oh, the lighting's too bright. Oh well. Fuck it. Don't care anymore. I quit. But this is, okay, so this is part of what's happening. So first of all, I don't like the segments. Don't like it. Doesn't work. I don't get editing done. I'll just do the occasional clip as time goes on. I'd rather do, what I found is that what I was doing was creating a much longer stream and not editing. So it's so, that we're all about like looking at unintended consequences on here, right? That's what happened. Was my best intentions ended with like longer streams that I'd never get time to edit because I'm just fucking, this isn't my job. It's not my job. Okay? It's not my fucking job. It's not my thing. So I'm just doing it because it's just a personal challenge to overcome shit. And if I end up being funny and end up creating something out of it, then so be it. But fucking hell, people act like I'm on TV. I'm not on TV. You don't fucking own me. Okay. So yes, I am a bit frazzled too, Diane. Can you tell? Also, I had to schedule the stream early because 7:30 in the morning here. Well, it's nearly 8 now, but because I've got a meeting and I'm handing over a fucking site and all the stress and loads of work and overwhelmed and loads to do and like I'm just fed up with all of it. But actually, okay, so I was thinking about this actually, right? Like this has been probably the last couple of weeks mostly. It's all come to a head, but it's been brewing for some time. where I'm very quickly remembering why I left politics in the first place. And I don't like what it does to people. I don't like the numbing. I don't like the arguing. I don't like the drama. I don't like the stupidity. I don't like the fact that fucking morons can hijack an entire well-designed, beautiful process that's supposed to work, but fuckwits fuck it up, right? This is why I left. I left because of this stupid factional fucking bullshit. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But I also realized that just lately, I think when you start seeing what, because obviously I've started to diagnose this thing for some time. And now that I see it through the lens that I see it through, which is that what I'm seeing is a fucking fire hose of pain and trauma and upset and sadness and bad mental health and the system letting people down. It's just a fire hose of tragedy all the time. And I can't fucking deal with it. It's awful. Okay. So, so I'm not moaning. Sorry about that. Yes, it is my job. So, okay, hang on. Let me have a look at the chat. Hang on 1 second. So Diane, yes, you are a patron. I appreciate. Actually, the problem with me moaning is that I end up accidentally moaning about having patrons. That's not the case. It is my job in that sense. I just mean that I started this with no real skin in the game, and it's very cool. And I would love to be able to do this, but it's just how it is. I very much appreciate anybody who becomes a patron. I would very much appreciate someone to become $100,000 a month patron, which is the shut me up one, or tell me that I can't swear. Oh my God, I got another fucking comment on a video, the Over It video, which I thought was quite a stellar rant, if you ask me. I thought it was quite a fucking great rant. Once you got to sift through, you got to let me warm up like this. I think it's actually quite genius. I was thinking, my hypothesis is that the reason why I'm largely left alone, first of all, because I'm fucking awesome. Second of all, is because most people don't see what's in my streams for 10 minutes. So like the fucking ADD people, the ADD people and the people who demand clips, fuck off and get bored. Except for the ones that, oh my God, this comment was, actually, I'm 7 minutes in and you haven't made your point. Yeah, I know. It's part of my charm. And then they're like commenting, I'm 15 minutes in and you still haven't got to the point. And I'm like, hang on, who's drinking poison? That's that Ricky Gervais bit where he's like, it's like going and seeing a sign that's got like guitar lessons, and you take that thing and you rip it off and then you call the number and you go, I don't want any fucking guitar lessons. Don't fucking watch. There's 500 hours of video uploaded every minute to YouTube. If not, I think right now there's like fucking 4 people that I follow streaming. Fuck off. Maybe you should go watch people who can get to the point in a timely manner. I'm not that person. Absolutely not that person. I'm the fucking person who fails to get to the point. And this is what I'm going to talk about, I think. Maybe, if you're lucky, sometime in the next 4 hours. Because it's a quick one. But Jesus Christ. My point is, fuck off. Don't watch it. And yeah, I will do some clips because my clips, I actually do benefit quite a bit from editing, but I've just got to do it at my own pace. But anyway, it was just the Over It video because it was actually a pretty good fucking rant, quite funny once I warm up. And most of my videos are pretty good once I warm up and with a bit of editing. It's actually very hard. One thing I've noticed, I just did that thing where I was just move on to another thought halfway through another thought. It's part of the process, but it makes it difficult to edit. It makes it very difficult to edit. Because things build and we make a point and we sort of go off on a rant and a tangent and stuff. And that works for me. And yes, I can do some segments and there's a rough, I think I'm just better riffing. And if you don't like it, then that's okay. But I've got to try and get a bit more structure and a few more notes together and just get better at structuring my thoughts. But I had my like, it's just not how my brain just does not function in that way. And I choose to see that that is a strength rather than a weakness, because I've been made to feel fucking wrong my whole life because of how I am, and because of, like, no matter what I fucking do, there's something wrong with me as a person, and there's fucking nothing wrong with me as a person. Go fuck yourself, people. If you don't like me, fuck off. If you like me, become a patron. It's not difficult. If you like me, watch me. I appreciate every second that people give. I appreciate every second that people give me of their time. But this comes back to the point of the fucking video, which was that I want to be a comfort for people. I want to be good for people. I want to make people laugh and breathe out and just relax and just fucking say the truth in a time of nothing but fucking lies and edits and like deep fakes and bullshit. You're just going to see me talking shit and know that you're not alone. Because this is the thing, and I probably will cry because if I feel it, right? This is the thing. I feel it. When I turn on Twitter at the moment, I turn on Twitter for the Star Wars. My grandma used to call Google the Google tubes. The fucking Google. When I turn on the Google tubes for the Star Wars, in my day, I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. What was I saying? I turn on Twitter, and I've said this. All I just see is people just hurting. All I see is just people hurting from leaders that have just let them down, celebrities that are letting their fans down. We've got nobody to look to. Nobody. So maybe you can just look to me. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I don't have a fucking fancy blue check or a white check. Ben. Ben PUBG. Pissed off with Ben. No, but like, all I see when I turn Twitter on at the moment is just everyone just bleeding everywhere and in pain. And they may not realize it because it comes out in tribal bullshit, and it comes out in, celebrity worship or trying to score one over the other team. But I see it. I just see people hurting. Yeah. And this is where it's just frustrating for me, because I am actually contrary. I play a narcissist on television. I'm not. The reason why I'm all this bravado and jokes and fucking, well, it's not joke. My jokes don't come from a place of pain. They're just jokes. But a lot of the persona that I built up, I was thinking about this. What drew me to the internet in the first place was the fact that everyone fucking told me there was something wrong with me. My whole life I was bullied in school. I was fucking Sheldon Cooper in fucking school, because he was, as much as like Sheldon Cooper is a great TV character and in Young Sheldon, it's not like fucking Young Sheldon, okay? That's a sanitized version of what it's like to grow up feeling different, because I didn't get to go to college. I didn't have support. All I had was fucking people telling me that I was a wrong one all my fucking life. And then I went on the internet because I felt like I could find a sense of community, and I saw what was possible. I could express myself for the first time in my life. Actually, that's not true. Rewind. This is what happened. Here's a story. In high school, I was didn't fit in. I was all bravado. Like, I thought, that thing in high school where you think that you were bullied, but as an adult, you realize you might have actually kind of been the bully as well. That's how I feel at the moment with a lot of this stuff. Also, because, being a victim doesn't necessarily justify, it explains behavior. That's the thing. Let me think. Still warming up, but let me think, right? There's an explanation for behavior. This is how I feel, right? Which is that this is how I feel about autism. And I'll talk to that because Connie's actually asked in my Discord. Tayalu.xyz will take you to my Discord, or DM me somewhere or message me if you want a fucking link. Oh, the link will show up at the end. There you go. But anyway, constant disappointment on YouTube. asked about autism and how it manifests. Now, for me, I'll talk a little bit about that because I'm actually more like sort of clinically speaking ADHD with sort of autism pepper. I'm ADHD salt and fucking autism pepper. It's just a sprinkling of it, right? But also my personality, which it wasn't necessarily to do with having autism or ADHD, but it was actually just the fact that I was gifted and bright and didn't fit in. And I also arrogant as fuck because I was smart and autistic and ADHD, but that's not the point. Anyway, but I've always had trouble making friends to the point where now when I do make friends, I get anxious and sort of I have attachment shit with friends. So now I keep friends at arm's length in case they fucking just get sick of me. That's my cycle of friendship. I'm fucking confessing, fuck it. This is my channel. I can do what I want. But I grew up like I'd have a friend. I also moved schools a lot, lots of fucking personal shit, but I've always had trouble making friends. And actually, no, correct that. I've never had trouble making friends. I've always had trouble keeping friends. Because I'm one of those people where I'm me. I'm just always me. And people like me because I'm funny and smart and high energy and crazy and unpredictable and scattered and disorganized. Part of the reason why people fucking love me is because I'm mental. But that wears thin after a while. Right. And that's the thing. And so eventually, and usually it's because I've made a snarky joke and they go, ha ha, you hate those guys. But what they don't realize is that I'll actually turn and make fun of you when you're a dickhead too. And that's how I lose friends, is that I tend to be just equal opportunity fuckwit hater. And I don't join. I generally stay tribeless. And it will come back to my main point. I'm just sort of meandering. But this is something that first of all, I had trouble keeping friends in school because I can't sustain friendships. I find it very hard. If we're friends, you got to expect that, first of all, me saying let's catch up counts as having caught up in Tailland. I've got friends that all have ADHD and it's quite funny because we're all just like, we message each other. And then we're like, we should catch up. And then 6 months passes. And then we go, we should catch up. And then 6 months passes. And then we finally do a thing and they all fucking pike at the last minute. And they go, that was a good catch up. That fucking Facebook chat that we had. That's just how I'm wired. And it's not antisocial or anything. It's just fucking, I'm just busy, first of all. And also just, I don't need a lot of social contact. And that's part of the reason why I know this fan stuff. It's called a parasocial relationship. This is what I know all these things, right? I know the psychology behind these things, but we'll talk about that later. I'm comfortable with sort of parasocial stuff. Yeah, Diane Reese, I'm feeling the friendship thing. I'd never connected it before. Yeah, it's not, and it's not necessary. And it's also just because I'm just, first of all, I've never understood. I don't. Okay. Stuttering. Get a drink. I have 2 mugs of coffee. Look, I have my Trump mug because that was just to piss everyone off. And my Children of the Vault mug from Borderlands 3. So anyway, in school, I had trouble. I just fucking Sheldon Cooper, but without the fucking laughs, right? It was actually pretty horrible. I was bullied. And that I spent a lot of time and I just sort of attached myself to sort of a teacher in media, my media studies teacher. He was fucking awesome. He could juggle. To this day, I can juggle because he could juggle. I wanted to be him, right? Except for the whole, not that part, but everything. He loved Apple computers. He loved Steve Jobs. This was in like 1994. So he had like a Mac computer and he had the like quick take camera, Photoshop. I learned all that stuff because I wanted to be like him. I was into that stuff because he was into that stuff. And I fucking loved it. We built the radio station and at the school, and I was sort of I was the coordinator of that. High, drunk on my own power and a bit of a cunt. But hey, we got air standards that we had to meet. That was funny, actually. That's amazing. I should tell you some radio station stories. They were quite funny. But anyway, we would just basically we only had like, I think 30 CDs. So we would just play fucking the same shit over and over again. I suppose that's no different to commercial radio now. Anyway, but I was in the media room and that's where I first sort of got into the nerdy stuff. I didn't have that environment at home. I wasn't supported to do this stuff at home. And so I sort of channeled into that. This was 1990. I've been using Photoshop for 1994 was when I first used Photoshop. What's that? Nearly coming up 27 years. Holy fuck. If you need a Photoshop artist, goodness me. No. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. But, the media room, it got me on the internet. And I would hide in the media. My main, this was my point, was that I didn't really make friends. I didn't hang out with people. I would hang out in the media room and just do media shit, like the radio station and building that and configuring that and creating content for that and playlists and all of trying to get sponsors and all of that kind of stuff. I had some really cool adventures there, actually, with labels and stuff. In the early days, that was really cool. I got to interview Southern Sons. That's really bizarre. But, I was very much into that sort of media journalism and all that sort of stuff. And then I ended up on the internet because the internet became my big version of that media room, which was that I could hang out with other nerds. I could hang out with geeks. I could just express myself. I could write. I could create. I could be creative. It opened up just creativity where I didn't have the resources or ability to do that stuff. Right? I was living in an environment where if I bought stuff that was worth anything, it would get taken to the pawn shop. I couldn't do it. So that was just something where the internet was just my escape hatch. And that's why I just sit here and I had to go back and really think why I do what I do and why I went into it. And I was in politics. I quit politics. I quit it after I fucking was just all the bullshit. I've quit politics several fucking times and I never seem to remember why I quit. All right. Yes, I may be a political scientist and yes, I may have the tools to analyze things and it's made me, I love politics, but I love an idealized version of politics. I love the systems. I love the fucking analysis. I love the theory. I love the philosophy. I love political philosophy. I love psychology, all the things. I love campaigning. I hate fuckwits. And it turns out there's a lot of fuckwits in politics. And that's what I'm finding now. And there's also a lot of people who just are hungry for power or money or status and don't actually care about the issues. They don't care about the process. They don't care about anything other than themselves. And that's what made me leave the first time. That's why I've got a politics degree and policy and don't work in the area. I left because politics, it ruins you as a person. There's a book. I can't remember who said it. I think, is it Freakonomics? No. I can't remember, but The Psychopath. I think it's actually a book. I'm not placing it, but the psychopathy and CEOs, right? It's like more psychopaths and narcissists in politics, media, and entertainment. Media, politics, and top and major corporations, and I'm not that. I play one on TV, but I'm actually very sensitive and sweet kind of person, believe it or not. Don't tell anyone. I admitted that I'm nice. How far in? That's why. Don't want anyone to find out that I'm actually a nice person. Okay. But I feel it. And I'm seeing what this has done to people. And as much as I joke about scrambled eggs for brains and all of this sort of stuff, there's a massive disconnection going on between everybody. I've lost who I am as a person, talking about this culture wars business, and I want to get back to just calling out fuckwits wherever I see them. I was saying to Paul this morning, I'm really fucking lost. I'm not. Well, yeah, I'm lost for the next sort of 5-6 years because I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know where I'm going, sort of, but I don't know what I'm doing at the moment because I've sort of alluded to this, right? But everyone, if you end up, this is something I know just from school, just from growing up, from being a fucking adult in this world, that if you speak the truth, everyone fucking hates you. If you focus on conduct, okay, and only behavior, everyone fucking hates you. Poor Jack. Let's talk about Jack at Twitter. I feel for the dude because he can't win. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. Right? And this is why my favorite word is zugzwang. Zugzwang means no winning moves. And that's how I feel at the moment. Because basically, all I see, I log on to social media and all I see is fucking bodies everywhere and destruction and scrambled eggs for brains and pain. Like, if you look at it through the lens of just people who are in pain, even an anime avatar that's acting like a psycho, that is a tremendously unwell person. Tremendously unwell person. And nobody's helping them. They're just enabling them. So it's not even about the issues. It's about the fact that people, I don't know about reporting them as fake. I wonder about reporting them as fucking unwell. And like, I don't know. I think that maybe the answer is that tech companies might need to start having social workers as moderators, right? Appoint community leaders who you can say, I need help, or they need help. And I think that they should have and they get a phone call, or they get something, or they get help. We fucked this. Not all I see. And that's probably because I went into this. So I quit politics because of I was in the Labor Party, and same political party, everyone's at war with each other because of the factional shit. All the branches are in fucking war with each other. People are stacking branches. Yes, they are. I know what they're doing. Okay? Stacking branches. Fucking all this factional bullshit. And we're supposed to be on the same side. And then it's just like, it's the same thing with all this feminist shit. It doesn't matter what fucking issue it is. It's just fucking people who are power hungry or trying to win, and at any fucking cost. Demonizing the enemy everywhere. And I'm sitting here going, I'm not going to pick on fucking individuals. Really, I try not to. If you're a heckler, it's not personal. You're a heckler. It's different, right? There's again, it's about context. But at the same time, if you're a mansplainer, you deserve everything you fucking get. Because you need to that is just correcting your behavior and making sure that you are held accountable for being a fuckwit. But I don't know. So I quit politics because of the factional shit, because everyone was just fighting. I've got fucking dirty nails. Sorry about that. I've got root spray in my hair because I haven't got my roots done, and then I touch it and then it looks like, because I get this shit under my nails, because then I scratch my head and then I get shit it looks like I've fucking got like mechanics hands. It's not that, it's root spray. Oh, did I go out of focus? I did. No, we're good. So look, I'm just fast remembering why I quit politics, because politics requires you to dehumanize your opponent, first of all. It just requires you to forget everyone's humanity, and all I'm seeing is people's humanity. That's all I can see. Like I said, all I can see is just destruction everywhere, caused by business fucking up the internet and politics fucking up the internet, and people using politics as a fucking heal, as a salve for their pain. And it's I mean, that's one thing about politics that I think when you study it in depth and at postgrad level, it overlaps with psychology, but people, okay, most average people don't understand why I could be in politics and in user experience, right? Or sales or business. They're not at odds with each other if you're doing it correctly, because basically politics is the business of changing hearts and minds and negotiating, right? In an ideal world. Like I said, I like the ideal version of politics and how politics works and how the system works and pluralism and those sorts of things. But in user experience, there's still people behind it. You're still trying to persuade. You're still trying to make people's lives better. Ultimately, it's just a different version of the same thing, which is persuasion and trying to persuade people and change hearts and minds. Or in user experience, it can be, that's quite very broad field, but it's ultimately just, changing hearts and minds. Same thing. And the way that you use those skills is worthy of, you need to, they're dangerous. They're potentially dangerous if you're unethical. And that's where I think politics, it's why I left. And it's why, even though I do user experience stuff, and I do websites and all that stuff, I can't keep going because I keep going into these fields thinking that people are going to do the right thing. And they don't. And then we end up here. We end up in fucking end stage, the beginning of fascism across the board. And all I see is just completely unaddressed mental health issues in all sides. Radfems particularly. Deal with your fucking trauma before you go into politics. It's analysis. It's not an excuse to fucking scream at people. Wokeism's the perfect fucking escape. It's a whole ideology. MAGA, it's a whole ideology that makes you a victim. But you are a victim. You're just not a victim of the things that you think you're a victim of. You're in pain because of an oppressive fucking system. And this is why we need to fucking start talking about Marx. But I also don't want to talk about Marx because the second I fucking start talking about political theory or, hey, guys, I might have an idea about what's happening here because, having worked in this thing and built these things and also a little bit of political theory, I might have some fucking ideas. And I actually, you know what? I think a lot of it is internet communities and fandoms and Dr. Google and support groups and all of these things. We've built cults and we've built tribes and we've built even just the gender stuff. It's just one symptom of a bigger problem and that everyone's ignoring, which is the fact that you can go to any community and get told whatever you want by people who aren't qualified to do so and who actually might have a bad agenda and you might be manipulated. Do you remember the pro-ana communities? Pro-anorexia. Remember when that was a thing? And we still just went, oh, that's a shame, and fucking kept going. You've got communities for teenage girls of narcissistic mothers who are talking about their perfectly normal, ordinary mothers and framing it as abuse. Okay? They've got kids who are saying, how can I get emancipated? And they've got all the information, all the scripts, all the right things to say. And this is why I think a lot of this gender stuff is in the real world. I think it's exaggerated online. I think in the real world, what I think we've got is a problem of communities that are teaching children how to fucking game the system. I think that people are just learning how to game the system better. The system is old. The system is fucking slow. And we need to just go, okay, well, you're taking the piss. Stop taking the piss. That's not what that law was for. Not trying to argue, not sitting online arguing about the law as such. Yes, I agree. Self-ID, all that stuff. We need to address that. But at the same time, this is where I think law and politics and policy, and they can only do so much. Even with the Constitution and even with laws and even with, all of the fucking written down shit. Convention has to apply. Norms have to apply. Society has to apply. And manners have to apply. And it's the same thing online. Don't be a fuckwit, right? It's like you just don't associate with people who take the piss and have mechanisms in place for people who try to abuse the system. And this is something that it's frustrating to me, because maybe it's just because I have been burnt out by politics so many times, burnt out by business. So, right? Burnt out by business. And see, okay, so Shannon Page said taking the piss. I feel bad that I picked on you last stream, Shannon. Hello. I agree. And it is actually, I think this is something where the disconnect may lie for people, which is that I think most people think that it's obvious that you shouldn't take the piss. I think people go in with the best of intentions, which is, let's talk about with self-ID, roughly. Let's assume that it's your average person who isn't an activist, who's just a fucking plain old adult like us, right? Us adults in the room. So what it does is, I think we understand the intention behind it, right? Again, if you can argue whether trans is real somewhere else, let's just park it. Let's argue about this slice, which is assuming, like, people with gender dysphoria, there is a period of time. It's called the awkward period. It's fucking going to be awkward, okay? Much like me identifying as a comedian. There's been a fucking 3-year awkward period where it ain't funny, right? But there's that sort of that window, that awkward window, that thing that we knew was the case. That transsexuals, again, it's real, it exists, just fucking calm down. Okay? Now, don't you love how I yell with the fucking opponents in my head? I anticipate what people are going to say. You're not even chatting and I just fucking yell at the fucking people. But we're working through it. I'm working through the thoughts. My lights are terrible today. I'm going to move rooms again. I'm going to build an art studio and studio. Anyway, so, but self-ID, I can understand how to your average person, most laws are built with convention in mind, which is really fucking stupid. But I think it's what we have to do, because I think that that's how law sometimes operates, which is that the legislation passes a fucking blanket law that's like, yeah, we think this is kind of like all right for everyone. And then they bump it to the courts to be tested. And then you have all of the edge cases in court. And this is where it's just, I think, a bit messy because we just don't know what we're doing. Self-ID is a boneheaded fucking rule. That said, I also understand how for your average person, okay, that requirement for surgery. First of all, there's again, what, the state's telling you have to have surgery. Well, okay, that's an interesting argument. I'm just working through the arguments, right? There's all of these other issues around it. And that's where it's like, I think it's just messy. And I think online is a terrible place to do it because we're all unwell. Everyone's crazy. It's a fire hose of crazy. And I mean crazy in an empathetic way. I just say it. Everyone's fucking gone bonkers. Scrambled eggs for brains. But I'm just saying that self-ID, I think initially the intention was that because there's that 2 to 3 year awkward phase, we're trying to make that awkward phase as painless as possible. I think the unfortunate thing is that it's just going to be awkward. And that's terrible. And I think we need to look at, I think maybe this principle of charity, principle of humanity stuff that I've talked about before, where to cut our opponents slack and take the good parts of their argument and their good intentions, not focus on just necessarily the enemy, like the bullies, right? What happened at the McIver pools is fucking revolting, right? But remember, one thing I've noticed in the last 5 years is that it's the same fucking 20 people that pop up, the same 20 crazies. Are they the majority, or are the majority of these people just fucking very unwell and have latched on to something that is a cause du jour for them to fucking feel better and feel like they've made a difference? Again, you've got all these fucking fetishists and shit. Let them go, right? They're always going to be there, and the law needs to provide for that. But I'm just saying, I'm just wondering. I'm not had no real coherent argument, and I wandered off on a tangent. I'm just saying that there's got to be a better way to do these things, and this is why, like the consensus decision making model in the Greens. This is why I quit politics, because you've got the consensus. I was in the Labor Party as a student, joined the Greens off the back of no war because I got swept up in that, and then promptly quit the Greens when I was secretary for a bit and policy convener, and then I realised that again, I was like, oh, consensus decision making, that's a great idea. You talk it out. You get consensus. Everyone gets a bit of what they want, and you work it out. Long meetings, but that's why I'm surprised that the Greens have like done this, because with gender and stuff, because usually it's about talking it out and not dominating and hijacking the process. And those that do hijack the process are generally considered to not be. Maybe that's a generational shift, and it's not the case anymore. But consensus decision making is supposed to be about talking it out and conducting yourself in a charitable way. So I find it quite surprising. That's why I sit there and I go, how can I be wrong on this? How can I be on the wrong side of this issue? Because I've been charitable. Sorry, I've got a fucking cack in my mouth. Hang on a sec. And yeah, I mean, the ALP, yeah, that's faction warfare. But there are factions in the Greens now, I think, as well. So anyway, what was my point? I can't remember what my fucking point was. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, okay. So the younger Greens have taken over. It is generation. Okay, yeah, I figured. But it's like, what happened to the fucking pillars? I mean, that said, I mean, it was always open to be fucking gamed by activists. But you know, I feel just like there's got to be a different and better way to do things. And every time I think there's a different and better way to do things, it gets fucked. And that's why I'm frustrated, because I left politics because I was burnt out. I couldn't deal. I can't deal with fighting and warring and negativity and abuse and fucking tedious amounts of mansplaining. I can't deal with it. And so it's just one of those things where I went, okay, I'm out of politics. I'm going into digital. I can't make any meaningful difference here. I'm going to go into this internet thing. And that seems like it's got new possibilities to it. It's great. I can help musicians make money. I can help photographers make money. I can help creatives, be free from the man. That fucking worked, didn't it? And now it's owned by 4 fucking companies. And it's like, yeah. And now all I just see is all of these things coming home to roost. And everything was going crazy. So I went, hey, I've got some ideas. Because, politics and stuff. But then I get dragged into fucking politics again. Fucking hate it. So, and it's just, I'm sick of fucking people. First of all, stop calling me a gender critical feminist or a radical feminist. I am not one thing. Nobody should be one thing. I'm Taya. Thank you very much. Stop fucking correcting my arguments. I'm just saying my opinion based on my experience. I'm not fucking sitting there in your purity spiral, first of all. Second of all, I'm just trying to figure things out. You saw what I just did with the self-ID. Default to principle of charity. Try to understand the other point of view. Try to see the humanity in the people that opponents. That's how I operate. And that's why this whole fucking culture wars business, I have to quit it. Because everyone just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm lost. I don't fucking know what to do. I can't work in digital without being fucking complicit in incredible evil, because all the money is in the kind of consulting work that yeah, it's all in fucking evil shit. It's all, you know, and I could sit and run courses, but who's going to fucking do a course on the culture wars and fucking all this stuff? I can't fit into academia because I swear too much and I'm not polite enough and I'm not fucking procedural enough and I'm not posh enough for academia. I'm too old for fucking media. I'm too old for, and I'm no point doing journalism because that's full of fuckwits. There's no point. I don't want to do journalism anyway. It doesn't pay enough. That's the thing. What could you do? What could someone like me do where they sit there and they see just fucking bodies everywhere? You have to go into the culture wars and you see, and you know what? I watch what this stuff does to people. Right? Watch what's happening to Jimmy Dore. And yes, I understand that he's behind. Like, look what's happening to James Lindsay. His mental state and his character. Look what's happening. It's a descent into madness. Okay, look what's happening to every fucking person who participates in this thing. It causes depression. It numbs you. It's just dehumanizing. It is pointless. It is not even politics. I don't think any of these people have showed up to a fucking branch meeting in their whole life. And it's like we need to I want to get to a place where we can work with people again. And again, yes, I'm doing psychology, but that's going to take 6 years for me to even fucking have an alternative source of income. So I'm just, and yes, I'm a designer and stuff. So I can always make money designing, but ultimately people just, again, like that can be replaced by fucking Canva now. So what's the point in that? Because it doesn't pay enough. My rate, people can't afford me. I'm not going to fucking, if I have to reduce my rates or do free work, I want it to be on something that I want to do because I've got no time for the things that I want to do. So if I'm going to work for free, then it's going to be on stuff that I fucking want to do. I'm not going to do free shit for stuff I don't want to do. And it's like, what could I do? Oh, Photoshop art. Okay, great. Replaced by Fiverr. Someone will do it for fucking $10. I could do this, but then I get comments about how I fucking should edit and do shit. And that takes fucking, do you know how long it takes to make a fucking 5-minute clip? It takes me half a day per clip. I don't have that kind of time. And it's just, yeah, but also then you got to fucking join some sort of culture wars. All the people who just fucking jump in, talk shit. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not moaning about fucking whatever. I'm just moaning. Well, I am moaning. Definitely moaning. But I'm just saying, right? It's just, how can we get our humanity back? And I just see everyone just so distant and removed and upset. And all the sort of projection and pain and suffering. And the system's fucked. It's not fair. And I don't know how to save everyone. And that's really fucking stressful. It's amazing. Anyway, I wandered off. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about at the moment. I think I just wanted to get it off my chest because it's just, I left politics for this shit. I remembered. Fucking hate it. I also remembered that I hate fucking doing like marketing. Fucking hate it. Because I'm a good person. And I don't know where good people go to work. I also can't work 9 to 5 because I'm fucking barely functioning. I've got an autistic child that I have to homeschool and I can't fucking work 9 to 5. So I have to find a way to work for myself. And I don't know how, but I'm figuring it out. I don't think the segments work. And I'm just going to talk about stuff. I don't know. Are we all lost? Are we all a bit lost at the moment? I am. I'm just confused and lost. This is what happens when you spend 20 years. Well, longer than that. 25 years nearly. Doing something. Only to realize that the harm that you've like contributed to. And everyone's just being so fucking nuts. And divided. And angry. And I think honestly, as much as I have questions about tech company power, and I think it's a good thing that all the fucking MAGAs are off Twitter. It just gives us a minute to fucking breathe. I think that it's okay. I think if we consider it the public square, then you should conduct yourself like you're in public. And that there's other people around. And I think that may be where we're going. I think that might be something, yeah, hang on, let me say. So the infighting and continuous drama you describe in politics sounds like most public service workplaces. Is it that you think politicians should be held to higher account? Absolutely. I think that if you are a leader, and I mean leader at all, this is just leadership. That's why I mentioned about psychopaths and being drawn to leadership, but they shouldn't be leaders. Because effective leaders have empathy. Effective leaders unite. Effective leaders are capable of hearing other points of view and synthesizing. You know, I truly believe that politics, and it should be a messy, it should be, I have an idealistic view of pluralism and democracy, which is that, yes, people are going to say dumb shit because people don't know things. But our leaders have a responsibility. And when I say leaders, I mean that in terms of, I've talked about the celebrity thing as well. I believe that celebrities have this responsibility. I believe that as soon as you have even just the smallest amount of audience, and I've said this before, I feel this responsibility myself when I'm building something. I don't have a big audience. I love you all, but there's not many of you. But you have a responsibility to make sure that you're not doing harm, because I don't want to do that anymore. I've spent 25 years accidentally doing harm when I thought that I was doing good. Right? And I think that this is, and we're going to see, there was an argument in one of the Facebook groups that I saw that sort of people making generalizations about, and it's not just because I'm becoming a psychologist. It wasn't an ego thing. It's just these massive generalizations about entire groups of people. And I saw it where they're like, the whole psych profession is fucking evil. And that they're what they're doing to our children. And it's like, no, if you look at the numbers, there's 100 kids in a gender clinic on average, right, in Australia. I've been talking to a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists and counsellors, and I talk to people behind the scenes, and people feel like they can talk to me because I'm approachable. People don't like, unless you're Ian, but generally not on. But I'm fairly approachable. If you say, "Can I confide in you?" I don't say a word. I will not say a fucking word. Okay. I'm used to working under NDAs. I'm used to navigating that. The vast majority of psychologists are just being quiet. And they're trying to fucking do their job, and they're trying to get through. And most people who are going along with this stuff just aren't aware, or they have an idealistic view. And I think that it's not unrelated to this whole thing. Working as a user experience designer, I can relate to that. Right? Which is that entrepreneurs and business people and designers, we're idealists by nature. A lot of us are idealists by nature, but a number of people are cynical and fucking psychopaths and do the wrong thing. And I think that, but we also, what we do is, I have this tendency, and this is something, and it's a lot of the youth thing as well. My kids have this, where you want to see the best in people. You want to believe that people will do the right thing. You want to believe that people will, it's like the difference, but in agency land, it's like the difference between a sort of salesperson and a project manager. A salesperson says everything's possible, and a project manager says, no, you end up having to be the bad guy. But think of them like the salespeople, where they just they exit, or an account manager, like in agency land. One of the things that makes a good account director is knowing when to just push back and say, no, that's not possible, because account managers are trying to sell, they're trying to inspire, they're trying to change hearts and minds with the client. You want to do something, you'll overstate Okay. But in the real world, when it gets back to the project manager and they're like, no, that's fucking, you've underquoted this job. That's massive scope. You've accidentally, I spent 6 months trying to repair a project that it was with a major bank. And it was basically because in the sales document, they didn't explicitly say what resolution of iPad would be supported. iPad mini came out halfway through the project. The guy wanted it on iPad mini portrait. I know this is boring, but there's a point. Account director said, okay, she'll be right. All right, iPad. Didn't explicitly say anything. We got hung. We ended up having to fucking accommodate and do a complete new design and like accommodate that and lose money. The project was 6 months delayed. Once I diagnosed that misunderstanding, it was smooth sailing. But it was just it was a nightmare. Right? And this is what I'm saying. It's like when you're in politics or in changing hearts and minds. Politics, you're in sales, or you're in it's the same thing. Or business, you're in sales. You often make promises that need to be kept, but you get caught up in the things that you've said. I say one of my worst things is to say that I'm going to do something and leave out fucking details and then get hung on fucking like scope and then end up having to do a whole bunch of work, right? Because I didn't realize or explain and the client sort of didn't understand what it meant, and it could be interpreted in a certain way. Politics is the same, right? And it's not unrelated to leaders, which is that good leaders are humble, good leaders are empathetic, good leaders are able to sort of cut through the noise. They're good at conflict resolution. They're good at seeing through, enforcing the process. So a project, I see leaders. This is, the unsung heroes of my industry are project managers and project lead. And my job is largely just leading and getting projects. One of my Rain Man abilities. If my industry wasn't fucking evil, is fixing fucking projects, broken projects, and just pulling everyone together, having it all hands, fucking working it out, diagnosing, and then fixing, getting that project back and running. That's what that's what I love doing. I always just lead projects, even if I've only been hired as a designer. Because I'm the designer and UX, I always end up leading the project because it's just I've ended up leading projects for all sorts of things, fucking eBay and all sorts of things, right? So found myself in that. But I'm just saying that I get frustrated because I know what a good leader is, and I don't see any. All I see is power hungry people who are just bad people who shouldn't be in any position of power. And leadership is difficult. And yes, as smug as the Democrats are, at least they can get shit running smoothly. I mean, yeah, it might be, I have no time for that shit, but at least it's just, hopefully can be dialed back to 2 for fucking 6 months. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this whole Twitter banning stuff and the parlor banning, and we need to have a conversation. Can we, see, this is the thing. This is my frustration with all of this, is that it seems like it's impossible to have a conversation. It's like screaming at an angry, it's like someone, okay, I got to tread carefully here, but you know what I mean. The fellas know what I mean. When you've got someone who is a screaming woman and you're in an argument, okay. No, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Philip said, am I streaming early? If not, so much for said. Yeah, that was my fault. I fucked up. I've got a meeting later, and so I apologize for being out of today's a fucking cactus. I don't even know if I've said anything, but I just want, you know what? Can we just have a thing where we rally every once a week? See you next Tuesday, okay? And like bonus streams if it comes up, where we just rally around and I talk about the world and I make you feel better, and I'm a bit palliative. I'm not going to fucking, it's just, we're just talking. But can we just agree, this is my frustration with politics. and especially political arguments, and especially fucking activists, okay, which is that it's possible to argue about one thing. And I said this about like an angry woman, right? It's like men get this. And this is something I used to do. I try not to do it now. I try to just address the issue, the actual issue that I've got a problem with, which is that you get upset and then it becomes all about everything else and you lump everything in together. Is it possible to want to have a conversation about tech company power and still think that in that instance, I fucking like the result? Because I don't like those platforms. I think that there is a problem of radicalization. I think that kicking people off, yes, but as a user experience person, is it a lot more pleasant? Yes. Am I not mansplained every fucking 2 seconds by some MAGA bot? Yes. Can I just largely now just leave my Twitter feed without having anxiety about what kind of abuse I'm going to get? Yes. Again, I'm saying, is it possible to just talk about multiple things in very thin slices and say, okay, it depends? Because this is why we get into conspiracy theories, because people start to create massive fucking metaphysical fucking bullshit over something that really is just, there's a whole series of misunderstandings, a whole series of unintended consequences, a whole cluster of problems and issues, but you've seen my crazy board's huge. We've got to be able to slice this off in small chunks, right? And that's my frustration. Yeah, it is. It's a method of warfare where the attacker spearheads an offense using a rapid, overwhelming force. Yeah, but I think that it's so important. It is absolutely important that we know this and we acknowledge this and we refuse to fall for it. And that we actually just remember that we're humans and there's humanity, and that people who are angry on Twitter, I've been reading a lot of stuff for my research from the psych angle. It's putting some stuff into place for me. Like I've always had some psych theory, that superficial understanding of psych theory, but not deep. And I've been looking a lot at the studies into what motivates people to engage in certain things, like social media addiction in particular. That's an emerging disorder, right? There's a lot of discussion around this. Internet gaming disorder, social media addiction, as actual, whether or not you believe in that disordered stuff. I'm just saying it's just an area of focus, right? Again, disorders aren't baggage. They're just a framework in which you can't cure it unless you can acknowledge the problem. And that's why these things exist, right? Pathology, anyway, that's a whole other thing. So there's nothing wrong with saying someone's got an addiction to something. It just helps to give you I've spent 5 years trying to diagnose this woke stuff because you don't know the solution until you diagnose the problem. That was my point. But I've been looking at why people, particularly the psychology of people who go into celebrity worship and fandoms. That's a really fascinating and emerging area of research in psychology that I'm hoping that I can contribute to. But once you read those studies and you know that most people, it's a funny joke there, because basically there's a whole cluster of papers. Someone did a literature review that summarized where we were to date with social media addiction and celebrity worship, right? And I laughed because it was basically, that's a lot of words for basically you got no life. It's true. Okay. I've talked about this before. Like, what are you avoiding? What are you missing? What hole are you trying to fill with this stuff? Because it can be a tool, but it can also be something that's very destructive. And I think that's why I've identified the solution as having to be clinical or therapeutic, because it's not political, because you're just going to argue about the politics. It's not the root. The root cause is the pain that people are under or in. and what motivates you to use that stuff. Yes, it's addictive. Yes. But it's the same thing. What motivates someone to take the first hit of heroin? That's interesting. It's like there's something going on there or why the psychology of smoking or the psychology of people who eat themselves to death. Those sorts of things. There's always going to be that portion of the population who can't moderate, can't regulate. And it's increasingly becoming the case with the fandoms. I believe that it's just going to have to be some sort of controlled substance or something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, because I think that social media addiction is actually very much like a food addiction at this point, or where you need to eat to survive. But how do you do that? Eating disorders. It's very much like an eating disorder stuff. Anorexia, bulimia, those sorts of things, where you need food to live. So you can't. Yeah, we need digital. We need social media. We need these tools to understand. Do we need warning labels on things? I'm still working through it. But when you realize that, and you turn Twitter on, and all you see is rage and anger and tears and outrage over stupid shit. And then you go, fucking, this is why I left politics. Because I don't want to deal with fucking crazy people. I don't want to deal with dumb people. Except for people who are here, because you're very smart and very sane. But I mean, generally, I like fucking dealing with nut jobs. I like dealing with rational people. And there's fewer and fewer of those around. And it's just like, and yeah, I feel like I feel like this stuff, politics, just deadens you and kills you. It kills your soul. It's why I quit child protection, because I'm too much of a feeler. I couldn't do it. I could probably do it now. I'm a bit older now, so it's I can have a bit more maturity. But the thing that makes you human, the things that make you a good human, make you good at Twitter. No, the other way around. Yes, again, it's whatever I fucking said. The things that make you a good human, right, are absolutely counter to the business model of social media. That's what I meant to say, right? Which is that saying outrageous things, being motivated by money, saying horrible shit about your opponents, dehumanizing people. And yes, again, jokes elsewhere. Jokes separate. That's art. Art is free. Fucking easy. Okay. I'm not talking about creative expression. I'm talking about people who just everyday stuff where they just say heinous fucking shit. And they're addicted to that because it's only saying heinous shit that makes them feel important and loved. Right? And it's just, is there a way that we can love our enemies without, and reach out to people? I had someone reach out to me who I had issues with, and it's ballsy to do, and we talked it through. And I didn't realize that, I heard her point of view, and her and I think we might be okay. And I think that I learned something from that, which is that sometimes you don't know what's going on with someone else. And unless you're Ian, and Ian can fuck off. I'm a hypocrite. What can I say? Yeah, so I don't know if this was at any point, but yeah, I have to put down my fucking sword. I think the sword's down on this stuff. Yes, I think we can talk about the crazy stuff, talk about it and laugh at things. I'm just trying to find the balance, because I think I had this moment largely because I realized, because I'm working on a website for an art gallery at the moment, and it's lots of beautiful art. And what I saw was a whole bunch of new art from their artists. And they spent 2020 making beautiful things, making art, making paintings. I spent 2020, well, I'm not saying it was a waste of time, But I'm saying, and you know, it's creative expression because it's jokes and stuff. But I don't have anything to show for it other than a whole bunch of videos, right? And that's where it's just, there's got to be a different way. Sorry, I'm just looking elsewhere won't necessarily rectify feeling disillusioned and lost. I'm not looking elsewhere. I'm just doing what I do. I have my own business. I'm self-employed. Sorry, I'm just saying I don't work in politics. I'm saying I'm talking about, I understand that there's stuff you don't like in every job. I don't like my business. I'm in business. I'm a designer, first of all. I'm just happen to have a political degree and get thrust into this shit because I know the theory. But I'm only part of this because I always wanted to be part of a solution, not part of the problem. And that's partly my frustration with a lot of this stuff, is that people just comment on my shit like I want anything to do with the fucking argument. I don't care. I didn't get to the point on purpose because I'm not a uni lecturer. There's plenty of, like, if you want to, like, go fucking, I like Kelly, go watch Kelly. Go fucking read Graham's newsletter. Go read all the fucking turf shit. Do that. Go read Culture War shit. Go read James Lindsay. Plenty of options. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here because I'm trying to figure out what the solution is. And if you're not focused on solutions rather than just fucking the battle, if you're not thinking about what the end state looks like or what the solution might be so that people can coexist and be happy, not demonizing your enemy. Like, I've said this before. Are we supposed to just fucking sucker punch trans women into the fucking sun? Is that your fucking solution? Stop saying it's not real. It's not fucking whatever. Who cares? We need to coexist with people who have different beliefs. And that's where I'm at. And I am just doing this because I want to be good on camera. It's a fucking creative exercise for me. I don't know if because, you know, I'm too funny for fucking serious shit and too serious for funny and not polished enough to be like, I'm saying it's okay to just be a bit lost. I'm not looking for a career. I'm already working towards my degree. It's fine. And I'm pursuing it because I'm still on that journey of trying to figure out what the fucking solution is. Is it a new is it new user experience framework? Is it a new approach? Is it building ethical frameworks and duty of care into design of products and product design? Is it just quitting and going into fucking clinical work to beat it at the source? Right? Because a lot of this stuff is about disconnection, not fitting in, thinking you find a tribe, and that can be better, it can be good, and it can be bad. It's like social media is like food. It's neutral. It can be fuel, and it can be destructive, and it can be healthy and not healthy. And what mechanisms do we put in place as a designer? Okay, I just happen to know all the political theory and be part of this thing because I have some answers and I can explain stuff. But first and foremost, I'm a user experience digital person. And, you know, maybe I'll just consult in tech on I'm trying to develop IP. I'm trying to develop a fucking solution. I don't know whether it's a therapeutic one around social media addiction. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And so it's not about, I know every workplace is shit. It's why I don't fucking have a workplace. It's why I am my workplace. And that's why when I say I'm a bit lost, it means I am unclear on my strategy. I'm never lost. I have a very strong sense of who I am and what I do and why I do it. That's why I'm talking about this. Why I quit politics is because of my purpose. I know what my why is. Right? There you go. Let's pull out some Simon Sinek. Start with why. Okay? Why do I do what I do? Because I want to fucking make people feel good and make people feel better. Maybe I should just become a fucking hooker. They get paid more. It's honest work. It's fucking honest work. If you take the politics out of it. Again, can we look at the fucking thin slice? If I was a prostitute, it would be fine. Okay? Because I have agency and I'm not being forced into it. Separate fucking issues. This is part of the stuff that I think a lot of the modern, you can learn a bit from intersectional feminism. They're not, could you just stop being in fucking tribes? This is why I just get frustrated. Why can't we just borrow from everywhere and try to figure stuff out? I have to exist in this fucking corporate hellscape. I have to find a way. I can, like I said, I can consult at $250 and it's $250, $300 an hour in user experience in tech. Right? That was the agency rate when I was with eBay, $270 an hour. But it's evil. I don't want to do it. And that's why I'm kind of stuck. It's not, when I say I'm stuck, it's like, well, I'm not exactly stuck. I just don't want to do it because it's evil. And I think that it's part of the problem. Nothing against that particular company. I'm just saying all of these things, everything in user experience, you can't, I spent the last 3 years going, okay, well, can we do it? Can we do it ethically? I identified this problem years ago. Can I continue to be a user experience consultant and do this ethically and operate and refuse to do certain things? Let's talk about prostitution. There's prostitutes that refuse to do anal. They make less money and they don't get as many clients. Just saying, if you refuse to do stuff, there's a cost associated with it. And so that's where I couldn't make that work. So what I've got to do is what I might try to do is just develop some IP for other user experience people or tech people, or I'm trying to find solutions. That's what this is. We're riffing on solutions. But I also make you laugh because you're just watching my stream of consciousness. And we're trying to just do kindness. I don't know. If you've got any ideas, let me know. If you know corporate people who might want me to come and do a workshop, I'm a lot more organised in a workshop setting. But you might want to do a workshop on ethics and diagnosing this stuff and talking about these issues. More than happy to do that. Okay? But it's just, I don't know how to be good in the current framework. I think this feels, okay, here's an analogy. It feels very much like being a socialist having to operate within capitalism. That kind of, that thing where you just sort of surrender to the inevitability of it. And it's the same thing with tech, where I have to, first of all, have to exist within capitalism. The way that I am a socialist in my own business, i.e. when I had employees, I would put all of the, before I treat really well, all of that sort of, do all of the right things. But the greatest way to be a socialist is to be a sole trader, is to run your own thing, because that's kind of some of the good shit, and you operate as much away from that machine as you can. And it's the same thing with the UX industry or the tech industry, which is that I don't know how. I'm still figuring out how I can not only operate within capitalism, because that's always a fucking thing, and how I can be ethical and good and still work within the inevitability of that system, because I don't have any other fucking skills. What am I going to do? I've got 5 years. I've got to figure out how to make fucking money. I'm going to try. I can't, there's all these things I can't do unpaid, and it's just, anyway. I'm rambling. I'm just saying, right? It's just, I'm a bit confused. That's all. And I see all this stuff, and I just feel like there's got to be a better way to do things, or a better way to look at it. And that's why I'm doing the psychology. I'm hoping that might be the thing. But I thought that law was the thing, and I thought the medicine was the thing, and I thought that I've never quite fit in. There we go. Full circle. Right? I've never really felt like I fit in. And I also have to exist within Perth as well, because Perth is kind of a weird, it's a culture that's very 9 to 5, very corporate. Very geared around tradies and middle managers. So it's very difficult you can't really be a star here unless you sort of play a certain corporate game. But I'm hoping to just, expand globally and just see. I'm just trying things. I apologize if I've lost you all, but I'm just, I think we're all going through a bit of this at the moment. Because I initially had ideas of sort of maybe traveling and doing some speaking and various other things. But you can't do that anymore. Keynote speaking fucking thing is gone, isn't it? So it's, yeah, I don't know. And also it's just the things that I need to do, like write a book. I got a fucking assignment due. So now, and client work due. So if I'm writing a book on top of that, then I will never sleep. I just never sleep. I also have an autistic son who fucking needs homeschooling and doesn't go to school. I've got another son who does go to school and lots of complicating things. If you've got any ideas, if you think you know what I should be when I grow up, let me know. But it's not being a fucking full-time fucking culture wars activist person. Don't want it. I want to be nice. Because I'm a marshmallow inside, really. I'm nice. I'm a softie. But I'm not wired for it. It's why I quit business. And it's also why now I'm disillusioned with fucking business as well, because it's all these hustle bros and they're fucking dickhead whatever. And yeah, you got to figure out a way. Just got to find your niche. That's all it is. And I'm just struggling to find my niche, but I will. I'll get there. So you're my niche, I think. But I just want to try and make things a bit more kind, empathetic. Because empathy, as I said before, empathy is not having bucket loads of feelings at people. Empathy is the ability to jump and sit in someone else's shoes and see where they're coming from. And I do a lot of that. And when you do that, politics is very much about not doing that. It's about numbing. Whenever I get out of politics, I find my emotions again. I find my feelings and I find my compassion again. Politics is largely the opposite of compassion. And I think that's partially why people are so drawn to this stuff at the moment, because politics uses a different part of you, that, you know, all this stuff uses a different part of your brain than actual insight and caring for one another. Like when I turn Twitter on, I shed tears quite often when I open social media and I just see everyone in pain and hurting. And it really fucking, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what the solution is. I feel like I am complicit. And like I said, I fucking go and just see bodies everywhere with what my industry's done. And so it's, you know, and that's not being hyperbolic. I'm saying, I just feel, I worry what's next. I worry that we're going to see live stream suicides on Zoom. I feel it. It just seems like an inevitability. So, but I am going to try and just gloat at the fucking business fucks who've been ignoring me all these years, telling me to behave myself. Turns out I'm right. But yeah, anyway, I apologize. An ethical user experience agent. What does it say? Hang on. Ethical is like a streetwalker that won't do butt stuff. Yeah. Exactly. It is. It's very much like that. And it's like that in any industry, right? It is. Like I said, it's what you make it. The problem is that it's not so much it's not whinging that my industry is fucking full of fuckwits, because every industry is full of fuckwits. It's just that this is a root core, this is a bigger thing than just even politics or policy. It's something like capitalism, or the bones of the internet are designed around addiction, compulsion, spectacle, attention, you know, all of that attention stuff. And I'm just trying to think about how I can reverse engineer a lot of this stuff and maybe find the solution. I feel like if anyone can do it, you know, I can. I'd like to build a team around it. It'd be nice to have a user advocacy group and resources and money where I could actually just set this shit up. But I go, no, you know, I can't do it. It's a class thing. I don't have access to these things. But I'd love to lead a fucking user study, user research, UX project on this problem. And I know that I actually feel like Twitter and Facebook are using these things, are doing them. But I think that they're just overpainting it. I think they need someone who can just come in and go, whoop, all right, roll up my sleeves, look at it from the outside, from outside of America, outside, outside of the company, and look at it with fresh eyes as somebody who loves it, and give it some tough love. It'd be cool to be able to do that, but I just don't see how I could do that. Maybe I just need to, maybe rather than bitching and moaning, I could actually just write a thing. Maybe I need to do a great medium thing, but then everyone steals it and I get no credit. Because, again, capitalism, got to make money, all that stuff. Or I could just disappear and make websites. It needs to be studied by someone who isn't making money from it. Yeah. But I also, can I just say, I also believe that as much as I am sort of a socialist in theory, right, I also do believe that certain things do work better in the private sector, and innovation is one of them. I think innovation is good. There we go. Quote that fucking articulate phrase. Innovation are good. No, but I do think that if you look at what Elon Musk is doing and various other people, they need to be fucking reeled in, of course. But I don't think that government-owned Twitter or Facebook would be any better. I don't think that necessarily. Again, I think that we've got new problems. We need new solutions. I think it's a collective. This is like this. I think that the tech problem is much like environmental, like climate change and those sorts of things. Is that all ideas from everywhere? We just need to fucking brainstorm it. But the problem is that most people are only just aware, they're new to the problem. I've spent 5 years trying to diagnose this stuff, and I would say that I'm probably one of the only people. Well, I'm sure I'm not one of the only people, but I'm one of very few people who have the mix of skills and disciplines that I've got to see the magic eye the way that others do. It's just they won't listen to me. So I didn't go to fucking Harvard, and I don't live in Silicon Valley, so and I don't have a book, and I don't. Yeah, so I'm trying. I'll just try to go through psych and get the PhD then, and 10 years from now, I might have some groundbreaking research. 10 years too late. Just like universities. But this is happening rapid fire. So, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I need a wider, bigger audience. But then you just expose yourself to the fucking culture bros who just will tell me I'm wrong. Can you tell I'm a bit over it? But yeah. Anyway, but I think we just need leaders. We need good leaders. We need leadership, decent leadership. And good leaders have everyone pissed off at them all the time. And unfortunately, that was what disappointed me about Joe Biden, because regardless, and the Democrats, you know what? Our premier is an example of a good fucking leader. Mark McGowan, good fucking leader. We need more of those. People who are willing to just fucking stand up and say, don't be a fuckwit. That's all he's done. And, yeah, I don't know. I wandered off. Anyway, I have to go. I've got meetings and shit. I love you. I'm sorry for the fucking downer of this. It's just, these are just things I'm thinking about. I'm going to go. I love you. I'll see if the mood strikes me. I'm not going to do the structured stuff. It doesn't work for me. Yeah. So I'm not saying the government should get involved, just that if Twitter did a study on social media's relationship with suicide and found that they could prevent it but would cost them 90%, they wouldn't. Well, of course not. And that's why government regulation that's why regulation. But that's where the legal system comes in. That's what they've got to we need laws that say you have a duty of care to your users. That's why I said a user advocacy group that's independent of Twitter, where they're a body where they talk about ethics, much like medical board or the pharmacy board or those things. They oversee harm. And I think that that's where we need to be, which is the user advocacy group. I'd like to set that up. Like I said, I got no fucking money. So someone else. So either give me money for fucking starting up a fucking not-for-profit board thing for tech, or someone else. So anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for your precious life seconds. Thank you for my patrons. I know I'm moaning and stuff, I very much appreciate your help. I really do. I'm just conscious of everyone fucking hurting right now, and I will never feel bad if you can't do it. Okay, join my Discord. Even if you're on my, even if you're fucking whatever, you can, yeah. If you're on my Discord, I'm not going to kick you off if you fucking can't afford it. Jesus Christ. Okay, just fucking join my Discord and have a chat. I've got pregnant man emojis in there. We'll have some fun. Philip shows his bags and Paul shows his paintings and we talk about stuff and it's great. So come have a chat. And I was thinking we could do maybe some voice calls or something at some point, or I don't know, Discord only streams, private streams. Not that kind. Given what I said. I'm just saying, I want an honest career that does good. And I think maybe this is just age where you realize that it's just probably not going to happen. I like going where I'm needed. And so I'm just trying to figure out where I'm needed in the next 5 years. Maybe I just lay low and freelance and just do whatever until I qualify. But, it's all good. It could be a lot worse in the current situation. So please stay well. Be kind to each other. Only. Yeah. Ah, fuck me. Okay. No, don't. What was I going to say? Yes, thank you. Please be well. Be nice to each other. Try to fucking, just as an exercise, try to just jump into the person who's abusing your shoes or empathize with them and say, you're in a lot of pain. What's your pain? Where's that coming from? Also, when you do that, it's also a sick burn. So it has benefits. If it's someone who's a fucking woke beard fuckhead, you just tell them that their mother didn't love them. It fucking hurts. One of my favorite things in the old days with fucking these guys is just say, I'm sorry she hurt you. And leave it at that, because it's always a woman that they fucking projecting onto other women. Hurts. Yeah, I'm going to get my license. Not. Okay. I love you. I'm sorry this was a bit scattered and disorganized. I just felt like I needed to show up. I'm sorry for it being early. I've got to go and launch some stuff. I'm going to try and do another stream. I know I had other topics, but I'm going to talk about the news case actually, because I want to talk about that separately. And I also want to talk about the fan stuff and the support community stuff a bit more. So I hope you're okay with me sort of more talking about sort of specific issues, but also just riffing around stuff, and just building a community that's better. And I'm not going to pander to, I like feedback and I like constructive feedback, but I'm not going to pander to people who just don't conduct themselves politely anymore. I think that's just, yeah. And yeah, if you're in on the joke and it's all cool, but if you're just going to be on the comments or whatever and mansplaining, I ban them. I hide them, block them, because I just think we can do better. I think we can do better. And I love you. Thank you for your precious life seconds. Go to my website. I hate this hacky shit, but I'm going to do it. Stay well and join my Discord. And yeah, I'm disappearing. I love you. Bye. Where's my button? Oh, that's not the one. We may as well do that. Hang on. One more. You hang up. The buttons never get on. Bye.